morning all, hope you're doing well. Tuesday the 27th of September 2022. Risk calculation is off and VIX is pumping a lot. What's interesting is this pound bubble as well. Hopefully you caught that yesterday. They're shorting the pound, which kind of makes sense that they would because they're looking at technicals. But if you look at like the fundamentals, for example, pound USD hit a 50-year low, so I'm not sure why you would want to sell it at a 50-year low. That doesn't make much sense. Admittedly, it could continue lower, but we're talking like 50-year low, and is it going to break that, or is it going to find enormous support? That's probably the risk, isn't it? So I think the retail guy is going to get absolutely destroyed on the pound bets. So be incredibly careful. Especially for today. We are going to record the trade of the day today, but there's a caveat that it's moved a lot already. Ideally, we would have called it earlier, but I woke up at 7 today. I could have got up earlier, but I was really tired. It has done quite a bit of distance already, so that's a little caveat, okay? Very skewed. There's 8 people buying risk versus the one person selling. Now, normally these guys should be selling indices, but they're quite long on indices now. VIX is pumping, like I say. Keep an eye on that pound bubble. Not VIX, the yields have spiked, so that's like a rush to safety. And the yield curve is very unnatural and it's out of bonk. And that's that. I mean, if you were to invest in some of these yields, you get a decent return. Take your money out of the stock market, put it in here. It's a decent return, isn't it? And fairly safe as well. These aren't really gonna. I can't see these coming down for the foreseeable future unless these politics calm down. Like Russia invaded Ukraine many months ago, and it's still ongoing, and many lives are getting lost. So there are issues making this pump. So this is probably going to remain in the case until things get resolved, but I don't know how that's going to happen. So we're going to be risk off from this perspective as well. And so NU was making a buy on the dynamic, like I said yesterday, but you'd want to be careful because that doesn't really agree with the fact that we're risk off. This would be quite bad idea to buy in a risk off environment. If we go risk on, then yeah, this would be fantastic. This would be a good buy. But if we risk off, then probably not so much. So there's a disharmony of the sentiment and the fundamentals. Oil made a sell, quite a significant sell. So maybe you look at oil, and it might be a good short. Sentimentally, you'd want to look at technicals and all those other factors. Now, the thing is with the cross USD is that we did try and stage a comeback last week. It was very short-lived, and then they got crushed almost immediately after maybe 12 hours, and the dollar just surged, and because we went risk off. I don't know if this is the turning point. No one really knows for sure, but if we go risk on, then it will certainly help. So keep an eye on your indices, and keep an eye on your VIX and things like that, and that's going to really help. And this could be a turning point. And I dare say that pound USD would have wiped out a lot of retail traders. Look at the year, their performance, minus 26%. It's really scary. Actually, Kiwi is really bad as well. Well, anyway, so yeah, I don't know if this is a turning point. We'll have to wait and see. But if we go risk on, then yeah, they'll probably do quite well. There's GU, dollar Swiss. That's the leader. That's the laggard. So like I say, there's a caveat there that we have travelled a long way already, and ideally I would have woken up maybe a couple of hours earlier and we would have called it, and it might have been better, but I have to try and sleep. I've got to try and get good sleep because I do long days. There's the options there. So if you want to get this bulletin and this document and access to all the videos, it's £8 a month, and you get the bulletin tier in Discord. And I might unlock something else, maybe some more analysis for you guys. It all depends if more people join. If they don't, then I won't bother. But if people do join the bulletin access, I'll probably unlock some analysis in Discord for you guys, just to encourage you to go to the next step, which is the basic content. and that's everything in Discord. And you get a lot of stuff, signals, bubbles, a live feed currently of the bubbles, and our community as well. They've got lots of knowledgeable expert traders as well, and a friendly community as well. And if you were an FX SSI subscriber, then you can get access to the Discord and the spreadsheet for like £4 extra compared to the basic. So it's not a bad little option there if you are an FX SSI subscriber, which a few of you are already. And don't forget, we've got the Quasidb promo code as well on FX SSI. This is the thing of note, whether or not that's going to hold. Possibly, technically, possibly, sentimentally, 1.56. It depends if that number gets smaller. If the number gets smaller, we're going to get closer to 0. If we cross 0, then we're going to be a buy. So if you want to, be quite sensible, get a copy of this trading station, get a copy of the SSI snapshots, and then watch that number decrease. If it does, then it's going to be a buy dynamically. If it goes this way, it's going to be a sell dynamically. So 1.56 if you've got the trading station, which you should have because it's recommended. And so that's a possible risky buy there on the S&P, but it's very sideways. There's no sort of clear indication of a buy signal there. But if they do sell it, which they might, then this would be a risky buy. So you'd have to try and get a copy of the trading station. US 30 did make a risky buy. As you can see, they sold it. So, that's given that the logic for this to come up. Obviously this is a strong indication. Price does the opposite all the time to what the retail guys do. So if they sell it, up will come. This is what I did, a little close screenshot of the German 30s, that we are sideways, but you can just see there's a little pixel difference of the SSI and the moving average. And we don't know what's going to happen. They might buy it, they might sell it, we don't know, but you have to be careful. You just need to know your exit. Obviously that would probably be your exit there if you were long, but you want to be so careful if you're buying this because of those fundamental things going on. And it's just very risky. So this would be a risky buy. It's risky because we're above 50%, so it's at a static level, it's a sell. Gold, no, they sold it, so up we come. It's a risky buy. Same logic as the others. Today's liquidity targets, lots of movement. GU was the largest mover at 10% shift, which is quite a lot. I've got a feeling they're going to get absolutely destroyed on cable. So watch this space. I think that's going to be really horrific for retail traders. Also shorting at a 50-year low. It's a bit illogical. But it's retail traders for you. So yeah, lots of movement I say, but there's lots of mismatch as well. So I think this might be a turning point potentially. A lot of stop loss clusters EA, and it's at 14970. And location, that's the location, but the size is 3.56. So it's the largest stop loss cluster. Dollar CAD is also fairly large as well. That might be the largest stop loss cluster tomorrow. It all depends if this gets probed, but it might not. This is much, much better. We were 27% yesterday, and so it's really out of bonk, but this has been normal. 80% probability, retail traders lose money. And this is a fair indication of what should be happening in the Forex market. 80% failure rate would be normal because only 20% of people are successful. So this would be almost like a perfect stat for what we'd want to see for entry. We wouldn't want to be trading when we're 25%, 30%. It's just worse odds in the casino. But this has odds in our favour, and it tells us that the trap's been placed already. So we don't want to be trapped, but we want to enter after the trap. So retail guys are trapped on their positions now, as we can see on that failure rate. Very useful. And there's the YouTube video there. So when you sign up, just click that video and it explains this, how it works. But basically we're using the daily pivot as the technical measure, and then the dynamic shifting on the sentiment. And what should normally happen is that when price is above daily pivot, they'll sell, and vice versa for the other way. when we're above daily pivot with an intraday technical buy basis, but they'll sell, and so they'll be against the technical, and that's the logic there. And so yeah, it's quite clever. I think this is the only one in the world that does this, which is quite interesting, and we can get a measurement of their failure or success, which is pretty cool. Yeah, below 50% is unusual. Signals, so we had no trade of the day yesterday due to the incredible volatility, but this is how we are right now. We're at week 91, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with our trade of the day today. It might not be a good signal because we've already come quite a way already, but we'll have to wait and see. And apologies if you can hear my cat. She's talking to the birds. And technical checks, we are very extreme. So we're going to have a discrepancy, like a disharmony of technicals and sentiment, because the sentiment's trying to move away, but the technicals are strong to say strong sell, strong buy, strong sell. So these are going to have to technically move, and then the sentiment will agree with the technical. So this is causing a bit of disharmony right now. Fundamentally, we've got a case for a strong USD because we are risk off. However, I think we might hold this support. If we do, then we should be risk on, and then it might be a sell at the MA. And there's a pigeon on my conservatory roof, which my cat really hates as well. So that's the extremes, and that's today's calendar. So ECB speech, perhaps, maybe keep an eye on. Fairly quiet tomorrow, which is awesome. That's really good. We don't really like busy calendars. Last week was absolutely crazy. So keep an eye on the US data, 5 hours time. Keep calm, always trade safely. I'm going to do a quick 2-minute video, which coincides with London Open, and that'll go into the private feed. So there's the Patreon link. IC Markets if you want to become an affiliate, and I can be your introductory broker. So you can get access to everything if you use that link, and then you fund your account. And then there's the promo code for FX as a size. Have a great day. Keep calm, always trade safely, and remember capital preservation is absolutely paramount. Don't feel you have to trade, and keep an eye on that trade of the day. I think it might get a bit exhausted, and it might not be a good one, but keep an eye on it anyway. I'll speak to you soon.